Okay, so in this video, let's talk a little bit about handling large volumes of shifts and some of the functionality and the things that we can do to get ourselves out of trouble if we've made a mess of a lot of shifts. And I've experienced this a lot. So there are some ways that we can use multi-select and shift recurrence to really be able to help us if we've created too many shifts or made some errors with shifts and we need to delete or manage large numbers. So let's go to the shift editor. Let's just go ahead and create a shift called recurring. So this would be a way that we can create a lot of shifts in a hurry. Maybe we want to do it on a monthly basis. Let's set it for February 1st from 1 p.m. until February 1st at 2 p.m. So as an example, we could put in some shift data. Okay, and let's say we need one person, and let's save that. Okay, now I also like to save colors, so that will help as well. Now, let's go ahead and recur this. So let's say you're an organization that wants to have a shift every day. Let's say you're an animal care facility, for instance, and you would like people to come every day. And let's then schedule that till the end of February. So we should expect 29 occurrences. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you can see that we've now created 29 very easy to see shifts. And let's play with that recurrence. Let's say we would like to add a volunteer to that particular shift. Someone has volunteered to do that. And let's go to, say, our driver profile and get our favorite volunteer. And that person has agreed to do that shift. Now, let's say that we haven't decided yet or we haven't told them, but we'd like to recur that. So let's go ahead and save the shift. And since it's not an individual, it's a shift series. So what we'll do is we'll expect to see that on all of those shifts for that period. Okay, so now we can see that Fred is in design mode. Again, Fred hasn't been alerted to the fact that we've put Fred on that shift. We could go ahead and invite Fred, and then of course Fred would receive an email for those shifts, or we could just set the status to accepted. So let's just go ahead and do that, and let's save that. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and save the shift as well. And let's save the shift series. So what we'll see is the accepted state will then be set for each of the shifts in the series. Okay, now keeping in mind that if we create large numbers of shifts for lengthy periods of time, it can be literally hundreds of shifts that we need to be able to handle. The date range will help you to limit the number of shifts that you need to see on a screen, and that can be very difficult sometimes if there are a lot of shifts. The size of your slider here may help in sort of managing the number of shifts that you're prepared to have in one group. But let's say then what we did was we added another person to this shift and we're not exactly sure. But let's say we add a volunteer, even though we only need one, we can add someone else. Let's say if Barney is available, and there he is. Let's put him in design mode. And then let's go ahead and save the entire shift series. So what we'll see is that Barney will be put on all of those shifts as well. And that becomes a little bit challenging if I've got some people in a design state and some people in an accepted state. And so now you can see the amount of space that I have to be able to go through all of those. So what I wanted to show you is some tricks to be able to manage large numbers of shifts. So let's say in this particular case that this was not a recurring shift. What we can do is we can go to multi-select and select all of the shifts that are in this particular window. Let's click on one of them, anyone would do. And let's put, if we wanted to get rid of all of the shifts, we can do so as long as all of the appointments on the shift are in design mode. So in actions on appointments, now let's notice that we have a warning that there are multiple copies of the shift, and there are areas that we need to unlock if we want to change some of the information, particularly date and time. But in this particular case, all of the selected shifts, let's set the appointments to design mode. And what we'll see is all of the shifts we'll then turn to design mode. And the advantage, excuse me, to having everyone in design mode is that since they're all selected, we can multi-delete an entire group of shifts as long as the appointments are in design mode. So let's say we had a whole group of shifts that were taking up the entire area and we needed to get rid of those en masse. All we need to do is select any one of the shifts that are as part of the multi-select, and we can now go ahead and delete that. And it says, are you sure you want to delete all of these shifts? In this case, yes. Let's make sure that we also delete the appointments, and then we click OK. And as an administrator, the ability to remove large numbers of shifts is something that can be very, very time consuming if you don't know the tricks. In this particular case, what I wanted to show you is if you multi-select or if you did a recurring shift, if you multi-select large numbers of shifts and you're in the shift information, and you decide that you want to click design mode for all of those shifts to put the appointments in design mode, then you're able to delete multi-shifts. So that's a really important skill. If you have a lot of shifts you need to clean up or remove, that's a great way to do it.